Boxing fans here with Johnny Nelson. Johnny, we're here in Bournemouth, being interrupted by a fellow media compadre.
He's got Wow Hydrate top on, sponsored by, I don't know. Yes, bad man. How you doing? You alright? Look who's here! Look who's here! You see Stardust in the studio.
Johnny, always good seeing you, mate. How's life? How's things?
Good, man. Last time we were here it was freezing. It was red hot. Now it's freezing cold. Buddy's here. He's got icicles coming from his ears. He's thinking, why have I come to goddamn England when it's so cold? Yeah. You see? You just put that. Even the voice has got sunshine.
Let's talk about why we're here. Chris Billam-Smith against Ahmad Hohai. I've been told that's how you pronounce his name. By Al Siesta. What do you make of Chris Billam-Smith's career so far? It's been quite mixed for him. You know, he's performed sometimes he hasn't been very pleasing to the eye. But what do you make of him so far?
I think Chris Billam-Smith is a work in progress. Chris Billam is a strong, athletic fighter that is probably more. He's not a natural boxer, but he's learned to put himself into a position where, you know what, I'm strong, I'm tough. You know, if you're not on point, I'm going to beat you. And he's shown that. He's in the top 5 of every governing body. He wanted boxing here in Bournemouth. He got that wicked fight against Isaac Chamberlain. My boy, I rate Isaac, and look at what he did to Isaac. He bullied him, manhandled him, and so Isaac has to go back and lick his wounds. So Chris, you can't underestimate him, and that's probably what I did. And I'm actually, in a way, I'm glad he won, because we're back in Bournemouth again. And right now it's winter, but in the summer this is going to be absolutely wicked.
Another fight I want to talk about. Well, first of all, that fight, there's a lot of talk about him fighting Richard Riakporhe again. It makes it easy, both guys with the same promoter.
I wouldn't do that yet. I'd wait. Both guys are in touching distance of a world title. The champions that are out there are beatable. We could be in a situation where we have 3 Brits that are world champions. You know, the champions want to come over here and fight because there's more of an appetite for them for the fight game here in the UK. But our Brits, Billam-Smith, Riakporhe, you know, they could go out there and beat these guys, and get a job done. Smith's opponent, decent rating. I expect him to do the job. I'm not going to bum it up. I'm not going to say this guy's, you know, he's only lost 2 out of 16. Both those losses were stoppages. But I think Chris, if he is truly at least a world title contender, he should get rid of this man.
Another fight, and I just seen you talk to Rocky Fielding as he walked into the venue. Rocky Fielding fighting Dan Aziz, who's a British light heavyweight champion. Also, the Commonwealth title is on the line. But talk to me about this one. On paper, you know, Rocky Fielding's past his expiry date. That's what people say. He's fought once a year, you know, not that active no more. And Dan Aziz is the new young hot prospect. Well, not even a young prospect. He's a champion who's looking to get up there and fight the big boys. How do you see this one playing out?
It's all a case of what Rocky's got left. I think this is when I saw it, I was like, wow. You know, is it timing? Or is it overconfident? I think Dan, it's not a secret, I'm a massive fan of Dan Aziz, and I think Dan, the way he's going, the way he fights, the pace, the engine he's got, if Rocky gives him space to keep that pressure on, he beats Rocky, but Rocky can punch. I know Rocky's not the fighter he was, it's just a case of how much Rocky's got left. So this is one of those crossroads fights for many reasons, and Jamie Moore's no fool. Jamie Moore knows exactly how to work with fighters and get the best out of them. Dan is a work in progress, and listen, I sing nothing but praises for this young man, but I think it's a good fight.
Can he mix it up with the boys like Linda North, Callum Smith, who's now light heavy? Obviously Anthony Yarde's fighting on a world level, so it's a bit different, but do you reckon he can mix it up with these boys?
He's been sparring for this with, well, actually, so I hear. He wins this, he's got a British title, he's got to make, once winning, he's got to make 3 defences, one of them being a mandatory. Who would he fight next if he got through this? The forgotten man, Lyndon Arthur. You know, Lyndon can fight, but people just don't talk about him in the mix of this. That's a good fight. And that's a Lonsdale Bell fight. And again, it'll show the true grit, true talent. of both fighters, Lyndon and Dan.
Actually, talking about Lyndon, there's a lot of talk that for next year we're going to see Lyndon Arthur versus Callum-Smith, a fight, and talks are progressing supposedly. Obviously, until we see something official, we'll call it then. But if that fight was to happen, how do you see that one playing out?
Callum's still too dangerous for a lot of domestic fighters. He's too dangerous, Callum. If I was Lyndon, I'd just wait to see what happens with Dan. Callum's too dangerous. That's a light heavyweight as well. I ain't pussyfooting around. Callum's just too dangerous. And so that fight, it's their call, but I wouldn't do that.
Whilst we're in this division, I do want to get your take on Anthony Yarde versus Artur Beterbiev. Good fight. A lot of people are sort of hyped up for this fight. Can Anthony Yarde, even though he's fought on that world level against Kovalev before, nearly got that win, beat somebody that's in form like Artur Beterbiev?
Yeah, he can. Anthony Yarde can punch. He's fit. He chose the wrong tactics against Kovalev. He gassed himself out. Lesson learned. He won't do that again. And so it's a good fight. It is a good fight. I just hope to God he's learned from the Kovalev fight because he didn't get beat. He lost. And so that means he can fix it. And so, again, it's a good fight.
Do you want to move up one division to the cruiserweight division and talk about probably one of the most talked about guys in the last week, and Lawrence Okolie? A bit of a back and forth. He's done a few interviews with IFL, Boxing King Media, giving his side. Eddie Hearn's giving his side. What would you make of this situation? Can you understand Lawrence's frustration in this whole thing that's going on?
I totally understand Lawrence's frustration. I've said it on most of the platforms you guys have spoken to me about this. If I was Lawrence, he's going to look back on this period. It's February since he last boxed. Don't know when he's going to box again. So it's almost a year of his career out where he should be developing as a fighter, as a champion, and he's still got room to develop. Shows how good he can be. You're spending time arguing with people that argue for a living. They'll send a solicitor's letter for a living. It's called a period victory. So you might get this victory and say, you know what, yes, I told you. But that'll be 2 years down the line, you've not fought. What would I do? I'd either do the fight and say, right, I'm out of contract. Or, if it's an option, fight somebody else and pay your percent, your cut, whatever it is, to get out your contract because there's only one fight left of it. But I'd actually just bite the bullet. An opponent's an opponent. It doesn't matter who the promoter is. Right, that's done. Lawrence will beat almost every fighter out there. So what fighters are they going to get at cruiserweight to fight Lawrence that Lawrence is going to struggle against? So I'm going to say, all right, I'll fight him. Another notch on his belt. All right, I'm done. See you later. The argument with him getting his offer matched or bettered, it's business. That's what Eddie would do. That's what anybody would do. Eddie's not the kind of guy that'll roll over. So that's just how it is. It's just business.
Fair enough. In regards to the whole situation with Lawrence, there's an opportunity where it's going to go to purse bids for his next fight. The WBA have announced that because of the sort of thing that's going on with Matchroom and him, it's going to go to purse bids. There could be a good chance that Sky Boxer put in that bid. The thing that a lot of people are getting out of this is Sky putting an offer, or Boxer putting an offer to him to be the face of Sky Sports. Do you feel like Lawrence can be the face of Sky Sports if he was to move over?
Well, first of all, is that true? First of all, is that true? So that's what we've got to establish. Is it true? Now, Eddie's said he said and hasn't said a lot of things. Lawrence has said he said and hasn't said a lot of things. So let's stick to facts. So is it true? That's what you've got to establish first. So if it goes to purse bids, Sky win it, BT could win it, anybody could win it. So you've just got to wait until it pans out. So what we're doing is we're running with things that we don't know for fact that are factual or not. So until it comes out, let's see who wins the purse bids, and let's just see how it pans out.
Do you want to move up to the heavyweight division now? Talk about somebody that you've known quite well throughout the years, worked with Sky Sports, in Anthony Joshua. We know he's out in the States right now looking for a new training team. There's talks of Virgil Hunter at the moment. There's Derek James that he's sort of working out with.
You know what? I think Virgil Hunter is one of the best coaches out there, but that's going to take time for that to gel. Is he the kind of fighter that that style can translate to. It's going to have to take a lot of time working behind the scenes. I said with AJ, I think he should have a year out doing stuff like that, going to gyms or working with somebody, and it helps him get his head right, helps him get his motivation correct. Not fighting on pride, fighting because, this is what I can do. I'm fighting because I've swallowed that, I understand it now. Using his brain instead of that, and emotion and ego. So I personally think he should take his time and wait.
Cool. Quickly, just last two questions. Fury obviously did what he did against Eric Chisora. We expected that.
Denzel Washington right there.
What?
That's a compliment, mate.
Well, Denzel's about 8 years old.
But yeah, let's talk about Fury. Obviously did what he did against Eric Chisora. We expected that, but Usyk stood on the ring. They had a bit of a back and forth. What happens in that fight? There seems to be positive talk. It seems like the fight might happen, but I'm not holding any hopes right now.
I personally think Fury beats Usyk. I think he's the best in the world. Look how he handled Derek Chisora after his time out of the ring, and I think Fury actually was, out of everybody that was there, he was the one that actually saved Derek from himself. No disrespect to Don. Don's a great trainer, good guy. He's emotionally attached and connected to Derek, so sometimes your heart and your head get mixed up. Decisions should be made. So I'm not disrespecting him. So if he comes out across the way, I'm not. I apologise for that. I think Tyson Fury was the one man that actually saved Derek from himself, because Tyson Fury could have put his foot on the pedal and battered him, but he didn't. And that might be down to their friendship. It might be down to Tyson showing a side to him to think, you know what, I don't need to do this. But I think Tyson Fury showed he's the best in the world. Tyson Fury, I think he beats Usyk, and he can play at this game. You've got to think. Look at the fight. Look at how Derek was with Usyk. How he brawled all over him, manhandled him, and Usyk got the win. Look how easy Tyson pitter-pattered, played like a cat with a mouse. And Derek, again, I'm not disrespecting, I'm just saying what we saw. That's what we saw. So what does that tell you? It's about levels. And the levels are Tyson Fury is head and shoulders above most fighters.